But just like you said, Aero Contractors were able to strike a deal with Oceanic Bank to restructure some of the loans, which have probably put them under a lot of pressure, like we've seen for most of the airlines in Nigeria. We've seen a situation where many of them are really struggling with high debt because most of the expansion have been funded by debt. So joining us in the studio, like you said, is Cyril Hammond. Thanks a lot for coming on to the program. He's CFO at Aero Contractors. So can you just tell us, in summary, what deal have you struck with Oceanic?
Thank you. Well, what we've done here is to restructure the company. I think restructuring goes beyond Oceanic and restructures all of our capital structure. With regards to Oceanic, what we have done is to take loans that were once in a sort of a shorter term facility and stretch them over a longer term into a longer term facility, and one that matches the assets that are associated with, with those loans.
Right now, those loans were primarily used to purchase what?
Well, those loans have a long history. I think over a long period, as Aero has grown, it has demanded financing for of various sorts for various reasons. Some of those loans originate way before the aircraft that you see these days. But I think some of those loans were also used to acquire some aircraft. And I think that's common knowledge. The loans have now been restructured in a manner that suits those aircrafts and the company as a whole. And I think that's the advantage that we have gotten out of this restructuring process.
So when you say restructure, does that include the interest rate? Because obviously that has been a sticky issue for many airline companies.
Absolutely. I think all companies in Nigeria, to some extent, have to deal with a hurdle of very high interest rates, and Aero is no exception to that rule. But with this new structure, our interest rates have been brought to terms that are more viable for an airline of our nature. I think the term is probably more important for us than the interest rates, because a matter of matching those assets according exactly.
Right. Okay. Very quickly, if you can just touch on what the central bank has done for airline companies. We've heard about like a bailout fund, so to speak, for manufacturing companies, which include airline companies. Can you tell us a bit about to what extent you've benefited from that?
Well, yes, absolutely. I think the airlines have obviously had a lot of across the globe have had a lot of history with bailouts. I think a lot of what you find in this country is that many companies go out seeking government bailouts, and airlines have found themselves in a similar situation. What we are trying to ascertain is exactly the terms of this loan. I think a lot has been said about it, but nothing concrete has come out. So you haven't
received any of it, obviously?
At this point, nothing. We've not received anything. Okay. I think at this point our focus is more on receiving the information that would allow us to access that, and then to evaluate and see if it works for us.
We've run out of time, but can you just very quickly tell us a bit about your expansion plans? We know you've moved a lot into West Africa now. What are you doing?
Right. Very quickly, I think there are two parts of the business. There's a charter business and obviously the commercial airline. With the commercial airline, which is what most people know about, we are seeking to grow our routes, our route network significantly over the next few months. We've just last week started going to Kano. In a couple of weeks, maybe in a month or so, we expect to announce going to Libreville, then followed soon after that by perhaps Luanda and others. So on that front, we are looking to grow very rapidly following this restructuring. And then on the charter side, we're also looking to expand within Nigeria very quickly, develop new contracts, new relationships, and also to expand the contracts that we have.
All right. Okay. Absolutely. Thanks so much for your insights there. Thank you. That was Cyril Hammond giving us his views on how they've restructured their loans with Oceanic Bank.